We're live,
Yes, we are.
right? You want me to do the introduction?
Absolutely.
What are we doing here?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay, we're live. This is Greg. Come on, scoot over here, Greg. Race Engine Challenge guy. Show him your shirt. Right? Can't see it. Right? And what we're going to do tonight is look at running competitions. Now, I've got Greg here because he has run the Race Engine Challenge. That's what this says here, Race Engine Challenge. And we've got Eric Weingartner, which we're going to have vocal, not video. I just called him up and he said he's been working on his son's car and he looks like he's been dragged through a tar pit.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to be.
Where is Eric? We're going to call him.
Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to let these two challenge guys. First off, Greg's only found out earlier on this evening that Eric's running this challenge. So what we want Eric to do is give Greg a quick rundown on what he's doing. So let's give Eric a call.
First of all, tell the viewers about what is the Race Engine Challenge.
Oh, yeah.
You got to give them.
Well, we had, just like the Engine Masters, we had a contest back in 2018 and 19. We planned on doing it in 20, but because of COVID, nobody did anything. And little YouTubes on it are on our webpage, raceenginechallenge.com. 2 short little videos there that will show you what we were doing. Worked out very, very well, very successful. My plan really was to maybe run it for 3 years and hopefully pass the baton on to someone else to run it, but we haven't been able to do that. The sponsor, you have to get some sponsor money, and that's very difficult. So since we're not having a full-blown contest again, 3 friends decided to get together. We call it the Classic Rivals. I have a friend who's a Mopar guy and another friend who's a Ford guy. I ended up being the Chevy guy. So on the webpage, raceenginechallenge.com, there's the rules for the contest. And it'll be 410 cubic inch maximum, 11-to-1 compression ratio. It'll be from 3,500 to 7,000 RPMs, fuel injected carburetors. If you use a Chevy, you got to use a 23-degree head. It can be any 23-degree head. If it's a Ford, it's got to be 20-degree, which is standard Windsor. And the Mopar is 18 degrees. And the only other concession we made to each other is those of you who are familiar with Mopar blocks, apparently the original Mopar blocks had a crazy lifter angle.
Mm-hmm.
And the aftermarket blocks, they were straightened out. So he's allowed to use the aftermarket block. The Ford, apparently you have a 9.5-inch deck height, and if they have a 410 cubic inch maximum, that bore stroke ratio doesn't work out quite as well. So there's a aftermarket 9.2 as a common block. So that's the concession for the Ford guys. And the concession for the Chevy guy here is I have a big block Chevy Camcore in my block. It's a little M. So that's the 3 concessions. But the main thing is you have to have the 23 or the 20 or 18 degree cylinder heads. And yeah, that's what we're doing. So right now, if you go to the webpage, it will say the contest would be next month.
Tell them the webpage.
raceenginechallenge.com.
Oh,
your raceenginechallenge.com.
That should be easy enough.
The webpage still says next month, but due to my buddy in Canada, Mark Carlo, he got behind and he doesn't think he can make it. So we decided to push it off until March.
Yep.
So, yeah.
None of these engines are actually going in a race car as a primary thing. It's the challenge. So they're gonna, if they had a car to install it in, it's gonna be after the challenge is over.
Well, the way the rules are written, these are the kind of engines, if you had like a Mustang, it would be a kind of cool engine for that, or a Camaro, Corvette, or very streetable. If you look at the rules, definitely streetable. And that's the whole idea behind it.
And I definitely plan on covering that on YouTube once that actually takes place, because I think the goal here
we'll
is
be doing it live, won't we?
We will. Yeah. The goal is to generate interest to have another Race Engine Challenge,
a full blown one.
A full blown one.
Yeah.
And we can present that to potential sponsors to get the money needed
Yeah.
to make it happen.
Yeah.
And I've been working on that behind the scenes.
I've just had an idea.
Here's a good question from Two Hacks Garage. What fuels are legal?
In my contest?
Oh,
Yes.
we're going to
Content.
supply the fuel.
We since one guy's from Canada, the other guy's from Tennessee, and I'm here in Charlotte. You got to test with dial in with the same fuel. And VP in our contest, the Race Engine Challenge, originally we had MS 109, which is a great unleaded fuel, but it's very expensive. And so my buddy in Canada convinced me that we're going to use Aviation 100 low lead aviation fuel. Probably wouldn't get quite as much power as you would get with the VP, but at least we'll all be dialing in with the same fuel.
Yeah.
Right now, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, that standardizes the fuel, and
Yeah.
it's only $6 a gallon.
Yeah.
Right?
So the
Is it
comment,
$6 a gallon?
It's a little over $6 a gallon, right? You're over here in the private airport in gas station.
yeah. So here, Winging It Tracy says aftermarket block. Oh yeah, that's fair. You have to understand that this is a trial run for something that we hope to have down the road. This is three guys having a competition with each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You could use a factory block, and I would think at the power levels it's being generated, I think it would be feasible. Maybe not ideal, but it would be feasible.
Yeah, probably feasible. So it was just that we were kind of disappointed that we didn't have a full-blown contest. So we decided, well, hell, we'll have a little fun ourselves. That's how it came about.
Yeah. And so now that you know about that, what about this camshaft challenge that Eric's got going on?
Yes. Now, this is very much in the news at the moment. So I don't think there's going to be many people who don't know that it exists. What we're going to look at now is some of the finer angles of it, and the fact that this is a pretty heavy load for Eric to deal with. I'll let him tell you what he's doing.
Oh, I'm familiar with it. I've seen it.
You're familiar with running these things, so
Well, no, I've
you'll
seen
have
it.
an idea of
No, I know what he's doing. I've seen
load
his
he's-
YouTube.
It's a lot of work,
It's a
though.
lot of work he's taken on, right?
It's more than meets the eye.
And that's exactly it. It's, guys, whatever you think this is, however difficult you think it is, multiply it by about 4.
You're
Right.
always
And
going
I
to run
think
into
that's
something.
it. There is, make that 8, right? There is
Yeah.
always something that crops up. And what Eric's doing here is he and his cohort, and I can't remember his name, his Dyno guy, they are taking on a big
challenge.
here. So more strength to their elbow, and we got to wish them the best of luck on this, because they're going to have everything go smoothly. Otherwise,
No
it will turn
problems.
into a nightmare, won't it?
Yeah.
So anyway, let's get a hold of Eric, and he can give.
No, I'm familiar with his. I've seen his
well,
YouTube presentation.
You
about
call
what
him
he's
up.
doing.
You have? Okay, let's.
Oh, I'm very familiar with it.
Right, let's call Eric up. Recent. Good Lord, did I make all those?
So can y'all hear us good? John Wilbur's in the house. Hello.
Not gonna racing. This is Eric.
Eric, you're on live. Are you in front of the computer?
Don't open a browser because it'll echo or mute it.
Can you see us?
I haven't even pulled up your thing. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I got you. Don't worry, I don't have the speaker on.
Now, can you hear it all right?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Good. Now we can hear you, but can you hear you?
I don't know, because I have mine's all muted, so I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm.
It would be.
Oh.
It would
Okay.
echo.
Everybody else, let us know if you can hear Eric. Okay, let me move
Here we
this.
go. Loud and clear.
Yes.
Your arm's gonna
Okay.
get sore holding that phone though.
Right. I got an angle here.
Here you go. Prop it up against the water bottle.
Oh, what about this for upmarket
Yeah, that's upmarket.
studio props?
Selling water.
Right. Okay. Now then, so you've got an idea of Eric's rules,
Yes,
right?
yes, I saw his
You,
YouTube
you,
presenting.
you know that you've got to put in $100
Yes,
and a cam,
right.
right? Now, what
I-
I did a
Eric, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You remember we had lunch at that little restaurant before the PRI show.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yes, I do.
Oh, good, okay.
First watch.
Yes, exactly. Good little place.
right. Okay. What's your partner in crime's name here? The guy that's going to be doing the dyno testing with you.
His name is Gary Dunsworth. He doesn't even have a YouTube channel, at least that I know of. He's just a normal, average guy that has a machine shop, builds engines, all types, a lot of circle shack stuff. He's just a normal guy. I'm just lucky enough to.
But he's got a dyno,
Yes, he has his full machine shop.
right? So he's not normal then, right? You know, I always tell people, if you buy a dyno, I'm guaranteeing you'll make less money because you'll be playing on it all the time. I don't know how much that applies to other people, but it sure did me, right? I mean, I don't know. When I first got my dyno, it seemed like the only time I wasn't using it was when I was asleep. But yeah, it's a great toy. Anyway, what is the status at the moment? How many people did you say you'd got?
As it's saying, there are 22 cams that are here, but yours would be 23 when it shows up.
It's already in the mail then, right?
Yeah, from what your cam grinder told me, yes.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
we
on
gotta
the way.
give my cam grinder. This is Brian Tooley, and the reason and somebody's gonna say, well, why did you use Brian Tooley? Because I have a very high degree of confidence in the guy. That's why. Now, Eric, you've dealt with Brian, right? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, he's a brilliant guy. I mean, he did so
Yeah,
much
well,
before he
there we
was
go.
Camshaft.
See, that justified. See,
That's your
great
cam.
mind thinks alike. That's the guy I selected because I have a very high regard for his capabilities. Oh, Eric, I don't know if you watched this, but ages ago, when Andy and I were doing a video on mod motors, the trip flow head,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, whoever designed this, I'd like to shake their hand, but I didn't know who it was. Guess who it turned out to be? Go on, guess.
Probably Brian Tooley.
Yeah.
Funny enough, you should
Yeah.
get that right.
Back when he's at TEA,
Yeah,
he did a lot of work
right.
with it.
So I haven't had time to shake his hand yet, but next time I see him, which Lord knows when that will be, I will do that. Right now, that cylinder head was nothing short of brilliant,
Oh
was it?
yeah.
Right. I mean, Andy's got a lot of time on the dyno with those, and boy, they sure do make horsepower. In fact, parts of the power range, especially down low and mid range, they out horsepower the 4-valve one, don't
Yeah.
they? Right. So
we've the best we've been with those cylinder heads is 544 at 127, and that's on a 250 shot of nitrous.
wait a minute, that's in the 8th, isn't
And
it?
the 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And that's with a Mustang.
Yeah.
Mustang, 124 miles an hour in the lights with
127.
127 with a 4.6 Mustang. Right? Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Anyway, so cylinder heads for this, right? You corrected me on something, Eric, about the fact that you only did a little bit of work on it, cut the seats and blend it in. And I had thought, this is brain fade again, I had thought you had ported just given them a light porting. So everybody who watched my video, like number 155, when I said Eric ported these, right? He corrected me on that. He said, no, all I did was cut the seats, make sure they were spot on,
Clean them up.
and clean up the bowl, right? Is that right, Eric?
I did the chamber too. So I
Oh,
probably
you
should
did
say
the
this.
chambers as well. Right. Well,
Yeah,
so
because my top cuts are pretty aggressive. So whenever I'm dropping in the valve job, because they're so wide,
yeah,
if I don't do that, it leaves a pretty good step in the chamber. So I'll always blend it out.
yeah.
So it probably did pick up some flow from doing that, but I had to do it regardless because they didn't seal it from the factory.
Yeah. Right, right. But it wasn't that much. Now, the point I was going to make here, and you can throw in your 10 cents worth, is these heads must be pretty good out of the box.
They're very good. So Promax has that head right there that they have, even that small bore that's on there now. Both of those are really good heads. I mean, they probably would work well for just about any LS stuff between the two. They've also got a cathedral one, but I haven't tested that one yet. I floated it, but I haven't ever ran it on a dyno yet.
Quick question here, right? What's the price compared with quality? You know what you get? Is it a bargain deal or what?
I think I charge $24.50. It's whatever it is from Promax. I'm talking off the top of my head, and that's set up for a hydraulic roller. So I'm sure that there's cheaper ones. Thinking off the top of my head, the AFR and Porsche LS3 one, I want to say it's like $1,500. But we'll see whenever this goes on if it'll beat it, because those ones made $641. I would think these ones will do better. They definitely move more air. So they are more expensive, but I do think it's a better head. At least it has more potential to be. We'll see, I guess, whenever we dyno this.
Okay, I got a question for you. Still on the LS6 stuff. Are you going to do a full-on head porting job on a set of these in the foreseeable future?
Well, the way it's planned it, like this cam thing kind of just came in because I got mad at some of the commenters on the videos. I was like, well, you know what? If you're going to keep talking, maybe you should just try to prove it. That's how the whole cam thing started. I really had no idea it was going to get this big, but the plan for the engine before that was I'd already had 5 sets of cylinder heads. So I had the stock 823s that I did a valve job on, dyno those. Then we did the AFR Enforcer LS3 ones, dyno those. The next one was the Promax small bores, dyno those. But the one that was supposed to come next was a set of mildly ported Brodix BR3 heads. I was supposed to dyno those with a few cams, then the Promaxes. But I'm going to hold off on those Brodix BR3s just because I want to make sure I get through this competition since there's so much on the line now. So after that, the Brodix BR3 gets tested. Then I started porting the AFR and Porsche heads, and those will be tested.
Now, you realize this is all predicated on one thing, don't you? It assumes you survive the cam shootout.
Well, any number of things that go wrong, and I am somewhat. I mean, there's a lot of things that go wrong. I'm going to be on at Dunworth this Wednesday, and then dyno again on Thursday with the small block Chevy. But I'm probably going to check out the LS while I'm there just to make sure I got piston and valve clearance on some of the cams. But yeah, don't get me wrong. I wasted all last evening just thinking about different stuff that could go wrong.
You haven't slept very much then.
Oh, I still sleep, but I don't during the day. I'm a walking zombie. I'm trying to work in calculators, what it seems like.
Well, look. Can I just take a moment here? I would like to make a request on your behalf, and I'm sure you guys are going to back it up. Right. Eric is doing this based on the fact that he's going to take 4 to 5 days to do it. The entry fee is $100. He's going to lose 4 or 5 days of work.
Yeah.
It costs about $1,000 a day for him and his buddy and dyno rental and all this stuff to run the dyno for this, right? So what I'm saying is, if you're going to watch this and study and see what the results are, please go and send Eric a check for a decent amount of money. I mean, if we can get enough people send $20, right? It's a great help.
Yeah,
But-
just go to his channel, watch the video, and give a super thanks.
Yeah,
How many cubic inches is the engine?
408.
Well, I do want to say this on my channel. That last video, like every time I do a cam update one, I put a link so that they can go to my online store and donate that way.
Okay,
Several
good.
people have. So I do want to say this because this is huge. So when this first started, I said, if someone pays for an extra day of dynoing, I'll do that. Well, then they paid for 2 extra days. Well, now it's up quite a bit. So after they paid for the entire dyno session just from donations, I said it's going to be 50-50. So 50% goes to the winner and 50% goes to me, just to cover me being away from work for a week. But
Well,
looking at it now, the winning person's probably going to take away almost $3,000 now.
oh, great. That doesn't mean we need to stop this. We need to keep it going, because the quality of the guys entering this here, they deserve recognition to the point that they get paid for what they do, right? I don't think, well, you'll know better than me on this, but I would say the most of the guys who are entering this are not just along to get a little bit of 15 minutes of internet fame. They're along to win, right? And
Well, I don't know if it's entirely that, though, to be fair. I don't get me wrong, everybody that's entered wants to win. But for the large majority of the people that are entered, they want the data. So, because I don't know of other times where you've got 23 different camshafts and all these guys that get to see the cam cards, get to see what each one does with the power curve. The data is worth more than winning.
well, that's a good point. That's a good point there, Eric. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I've just realized that that's probably my benefit as well. But that's a good point, isn't it, Greg?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
When you know what's going in and when you can see the power figures and get the flow figures for the head and the rest of the engine spec in detail, you can now start to relate things.
I'd be curious to see a computer simulation, Engine Analyzer Pro or Dynamation.
Well, I did that just for fun. This is a funny story. There's one of the camshafts that's way out there. I mean, way out there for specs. Like, I've never even seen it. Or I know people, I've heard of it, but no, I've never seen it actually done. So I ran it through my Engine Analyzer Pro, and man, that one actually scored the best because I ran it against some others just to kind of see, which was like, maybe he used this program to get these cam specs. But yeah, it did really well. I did hit up Larry Moe and I said, hey man, whenever this is over, I've got a lot of data. Maybe this will help out your Pipe Max program because I know you're really good with this mathematical stuff. Maybe it'll help you with it. And he said, absolutely, send me all the data. So that'll be, I think it will help the community in general well past this competition for the information.
Because my experience with, well, one engine in particular that I have in my Corvette, it was 408 cubic inch small block fuel injected, AFR heads, hydraulic roller. It was amazingly close. I mean, this was an engine, good data. And I mean, I entered the data, I put it on the dyno, and it was remarkably
And this
close.
was Kevin Gertchen's.
Yeah, Engine Analyzer. Actually, and Dynamation. They were both.
Larry
They were
Atherton's program.
remarkably close. A little rich on the peak torque, but the horsepower and when it would hit peak torque power, and both the Dynamation and Engine Analyzer Pro were just right there together. Good data in. I'm surprised more people don't use that.
Yeah. Let me. I know both guys. They're both good friends of mine. The amount of math that goes into those programs is mind-boggling, right? Do you know what it is to have your mind boggled? It aches, right?
So, Eric, did you ever have any idea that this cam challenge would turn into this big a deal? I mean, it's taken YouTube by storm, really.
It's got loud, right?
No, I didn't, because I was really, like I said, when I started this, it was because people were in the comment section, which I probably should just let it go. And I know most people would say that's good and the smarter move, but I didn't. We're just saying.
Actually, Eric, let me just butt in here. You've probably turned all that into your favor. Right?
I don't know.
Yeah. In the next year, what you're doing now will pay off. Trust me. Are we pretty much firm on that?
I believe that.
It's going to pay off with his YouTube channel, because basically what you're doing has at least the amount of impact, no, more so than some of the big channels. Like, quick, think of a big channel like Motor Trend and things like that. So the worst that can happen is you'll do good out of it.
Well, I'd like Eric to take over the race engine challenge. You could run take over, what we did when engine messes dropped out. So Eric run race engine challenge, Eric. I would love to turn it over to you.
No, I think he's too busy.
Well,
I think he's going to want to enter anyway.
Dyno, that would be something. But then even that, it's so much work. So if you look at, I don't know how you did it, because you have to have people to help put on the engine on the dyno. And there's so many other things to go on.
I hired two guys. I had two guys I hired to just work all week long, Monday through Friday. And their job was taking engines on and off the dyno. There's so many costs behind the scenes. The only money I got, the only cash I got was from VP. They gave $4,000. And I think the entry fee was $350. But we got what we call gift certificates. They were award certificates. It's very hard to get manufacturers to write a check. But it was not that difficult to get them to give it an award certificate, $500, $750. And if you're an engine builder, that's the closest thing to cash. Just like you got a gift certificate from Summit Racing, and like I heard you say on your YouTube, that's pretty close to cash. So we were able to give the winner and the second place guy, those award certificates. But again, the cost behind the scenes, I don't know if I made $10 or I lost $10. Not counting 1 cent to myself for all my time put.
You can afford to lose $10.
Yeah,
if it was me, that'd be another thing altogether.
I even saw Kazi on the somewhere. Where was he on it?
John Kazi.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those. What was they have that expo, the horsepower expo they call it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was kind of said, yeah, I kind of missed their, the old dyno racing days, And I said, gee, John, if someone like that got behind it, maybe something could happen.
Eric, you said Summit gave you a sponsorship.
Yeah, somewhat. They have donated some parts. For instance, they actually sent some oil for the oil change, the oil filter, a couple sets of push rods, so I can actually call up each person before we get ready to start to see where they want it to be.
Well, look,
because initially, so they've been very helpful. But as far as
let's see if we can. Can we see if we can use that to encourage other manufacturers and say, look, it's not a question of you giving parts. It's a question of us trading YouTube time. God damn it. Right? Because Summit's a pretty big player in this game. So people might be able to see this as, well, if Summit's I'm losing my words here. Backing it,
Yeah.
Then maybe we should as well. So let's see if we can, we'll talk after all this is over, maybe tomorrow or the next day, and see if we can come up with a plan to get other people involved, because you do need to cover your lost income, because you're a one-man business. Can't afford to just take days off like that. It's got to show something.
And
right?
if anybody on here that's not subscribed to his channel,
do so.
Go over there right now and subscribe to Eric Weingartner.
Yeah, because even if you only subscribe, just think, the more people he has on the channel, the more money he gets from YouTube. So that also goes towards paying for this escapade. Is that a good word?
Escapade, yeah.
This venture.
It's a great endeavor for what it is.
This is a venture like this carries all the same problems as investing on the quick. What do we invest in? Shares and stocks.
Yeah. What's the range of horsepower when you did your simulation? Where's this engine going to be roughly, do you think?
I think it's going to land probably in the 660 range, which I know some people are thinking it's going to hit over 700. Not on the dyno I'm using, because just to give you an idea, right now the Pro Max small bores are on there, and they've only made 685 and 13-1. So when we have these larger bore Pro Maxes, they're 11.5-1 compression ratio, and I'm knocking it down. I'm thinking 660, 670. Maybe someone will surprise me and we'll get up to 680, but I do not see it hit 700. If it does, you'll see me do a happy dance because I don't care whose can it is. I want the thing to make as much power as possible.
Question, and very important one here, Eric. what dress are you going to wear when you do this happy dance?
No,
I
actually,
don't think you want to see me in a dress.
so actually, I've done the simulation for my contest, the Classic Rivals, and I'm surprised. I'm coming out in the high 600s, and that seems awfully high. But good data, good data.
Wait a minute, he's in the nearly high 600s.
Well, I'm talking about a 23-degree Chevy, at the same cubic inches.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's in the high 600s. So I hope that's right, but we'll find out in the not too distant future.
What's your rules on your challenge? Just out of curiosity.
It's all on the. You go to raceenginechallenge.com, Classic Rivals, and there are the rules. But pretty much it's 410 cubic inches max. And the reason we did that is because a 408 cubic inch small block Chevy is very common. Stroker Mopar, 408 cubic inches, quite common. Somewhat common on a Ford. So that kind of equalizes the cubic inches, but 410 maximum, 11-to-1 compression. I think 715 cold lash limit, carbureted, fuel injected. But because it's Classic Rivals, you have to use a 23-degree head on a Chevy. That's going to be any manufacturer. It's got to be a 20 degree on a Ford Windsor because that's factory.
Yeah.
Now,
Mopars are 18.
quick butts in here. Question: if you started with a 23-degree head and you angle milled it,
No, we don't. No, we're just trying to keep it simple.
no angle milling.
No angle
No,
milling.
right. So that's why we call it Classic Rivals. This is and the way I describe it is classic architecture wrapped in modern technology. The only the concessions we made is the Mopar. Apparently, I'm not that familiar with Mopars, but the Mopar blocks had a crazy lifter angle, OEMs. So my buddy Carlo from Canada, he's got an aftermarket block where the lifters are straightened out. So that's the concession to the Mopars. The Fords have a 9.5-inch deck, which is for this cubic inch bore stroke ratio gets a little clumsy. So they make an aftermarket block with a 9.2,
So
which
you
is
can
more
use
in
a
line.
9.2 deck.
That's the concession for the Fords. My concession on the small block Chevy, it's a little M dark block, but I have a big block Chevy Core. So those three little concessions. But other than that, it's what we call classic architecture. You can use carbureted fuel injection, hydraulic. Well, actually, you can use solid lifters. You could use hydraulics, but I don't know why you would. But I'm using solids. So 11-to-1 compression limit. Something you'd put in your Camaro, your Corvette, your Mustang.
An expensive street motor.
Yeah, it'd be a nice street motor.
Yep. Anyway, Eric, you got anything else you want to say?
No, I got nothing. I'm a boring guy.
Yeah, no.
Far from it.
Look.
People angry. I'm pretty boring.
Look. Let's talk at the beginning of the week on what we can do to raise some money, right?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm doing pretty good on the money part.
Well, no, there's no
I
such thing as enough money.
That may be true, but I can always take more money. But I'm pleasantly happy with what I have. But I would like people still to contribute because it helps out the winners. But
yeah.
What does the winner get? What does the winner get?
We get $3,000.
He gets half of the
Yeah,
pot.
here's how it works. Of that $100 entry fee, they get 80% goes to them, 20% goes to me. But then after the dyno fees were paid, which looking at how much have been donated now, 50% goes to me and 50% goes to them. So looking at it right now, yeah, they're pretty close to almost $4,000.
Oh, that's good.
Costs like I don't get it covered in 4 days and I have to go to 5, then that might change things.
Let's target and see if we can get $5,000 for the eventual winner, right?
Yeah, it'd be great.
Mind you, I haven't figured out how I'm going to spend it yet.
Yeah, okay.
I have to say, you do have a lot of balls to do this because everybody wanted to see you compete. And I feel most concerned for you because take any of the other competitors. Yes, if they do good, great. But if they do bad, they're not going to be like on the internet like you losers. I think that might be the case though if you don't win. I truly do feel bad for you.
Eric, I'm not expecting to win for the reasons that I put forward in that deal there. But you hit the nail on the head when you said data. Now, one of the reason I was very how shall I say, enthusiastic to enter, is I'm just coming up to finalizing the constants in my LS program. And I need to see all the results here because I've got the engine spec. I can get a very precise engine spec from you. I can then break this all down statistically, and it will allow me to have at least 2 constants for my program, which would otherwise cost me several $1,000s to get, right? So the bottom line is this.
Everybody wins.
In effect, you're doing me a favor, right? You're doing me a favor.
I agree, but also I think wait till you get the comments when it's over.
Well,
So
look, let me tell you something, and you're finding this out. When was the last day that went by when you didn't get some arsehole make a bad comment?
Well, I mean, it happens almost daily, but then I have this theory. If you go driving and you just drive a little bit, you're going to see people constantly, they're doing the wrong things, and they're just that 2%.
Well,
So
look,
I think the same people respond
look,
sometimes too.
let me tell you something. I am not concerned about trolls at all. Anytime they want to take this down on a one-on-one, I will put them down. That's the way I work.
Oh yeah. What's the RPM range in the contest, Eric?
Oh, 4,000
4
to 74 million.
7,000.
What is it? No,
4 to 7,000.
4 to 7,000. Okay.
Right. Now, you sure you don't want to reconsider that?
Are you scoring on different matters like who makes the best peak torque at 4,000, best horsepower?
Yeah. His scoring
like
thing
this.
is
So,
looking
wait a minute,
very
let
good.
4 data points. You've got the peak horsepower over that range. That's one data point. Peak torque over that range, another data point. Then you have average horsepower from 4,000, 7,000 scored at each 100 RPMs. And then average torque over that same range. It's much like Engine Masters.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why Engine Masters even have to talk about torque. In our contest, it was just average horsepower
because they're all the same.
They are the same.
It's all the same.
They are the same. But I wanted to add more emphasis just on averages than just strictly peaks.
Yeah.
Well, that's why in this little classic rivals, we since the cubic inches are equalized, it's just best score wins. Doesn't have to have a cubic inch divider, which confused a lot of I think people who watch Engine Masters.
Ty Hewitt, yes. I know what you're hinting at. DV, that goes for you too.
Don't worry, it's coming. I'm getting a block this weekend or coming weekend.
Okay, well, Eric, unless you got anything else important to say, well, I'm sure you have, but right, but we get a lot of questions here to answer on our own without your valued assistance. But look, let's talk early next week about sponsorship, right? I would like to see that first prize for the engine builders up to $5,000. Anyone who puts money in will be gratefully acknowledged. We'll put up a list of everyone that's paid money in, right?
Well, right now that list is huge. So I'm doing well right now because anybody that donates, they also get the picture of the cam card the day before, of all the cam cards the day before the competition.
You should have said that earlier.
So and plus on the day of the competition, as they're running, I'm going to do a picture of the actual competition dyno printout, so they get to see that. Now I won't know what that score is until all of them are run because you're ranked by how you stand. So the first one might be great, but who knows on Friday
it might not be
the best of all.
Yeah.
So, Eric, tell me which cylinder heads will be on the engine for the contest? I've heard you talk about small bore and.
I got them on here.
The Promax,
I got the flow figures.
The one that fits the
Oh, okay, all right, I got it.
Right, I'll show Greg that after we've hung up on everything here, right? So, okay, Eric, I will talk to you probably Tuesday night or Wednesday, right?
Yeah. Real quick though, for Bob, you going PRI?
For who?
You going to PRI?
Am I going to PRI?
Yeah.
It's unlikely. I can't travel at the moment. Right. Yesterday, did I call you up yesterday?
I believe you did.
right? I was in a terrible state, right? For 4 days, I had about 6 hours sleep. That's all. Now, last night, right, I got 12 and a half hours sleep and 3 hours sleep in the afternoon. So I was 3 hours sleep, 2 hours having dinner, and then 12 and a half hours sleep. I cannot believe the difference. It's like I've just dumped 10 years out of my life, right? I don't know how it's going to work out tonight, but
That's right, Charles.
yeah. Anyway.
What about you, Greg? You going to PRI?
Yes, I will be there. I'll be at first watch in the morning.
That's what I was thinking. You know, I love eating with you. I just wish their first watch was more of the country type breakfast. They had too much of the foo-foo stuff for me, but the company with you is amazing. So,
Well, I'll be
Hey.
there. I'll be there.
I can totally agree with that. I've known this son of a gun here for 22 odd years.
More like 30 years.
Is it no, it's 30 years, right? And I can tell you, every single minute of time I've spent with him has been quality time,
Absolutely.
right? So they broke the mold after they made him. And Andy, well, this worthless son of a bitch
That's right.
is the guy that guides me through everything here. What you see on my YouTube stuff is very much dependent on how Andy guides me through it. It really is, right? Good guys. I'm lucky to have friends like this, right? So anyway, okay.
I'll let you guys go. You guys
Yep.
take
All right.
care.
It's good talking
Okay.
to you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Yep.
Cheers.
Bye.
So,
Well, this is sort of like it's sort of like an engine dyno racing.
it is.
It's sort of like, except you had just one engine on the dyno. You don't have to. You just have to switch the cam. But it's along the same line.
It
is.
is.
It's really a.
You've gone out the picture.
I'm sliding away from the camera here.
Let me move
Yeah.
back a bit so you
You're good.
guys can.
So
Moving
no,
forward.
yeah, it's great, and it'll be interesting to see. To those out there, I'm telling you right now that what is Engine Analyzer Pro? Maybe about $500.
Yeah.
Automation is about the same thing. I'm
Money.
telling you, if you're an
Money
engine
well
builder, it's kind of silly. I see on Speed Talk all the time. Well, I'm doing this combination and this
Chris
combination,
Bauman.
and how much power do you think I'll make? You know, why don't you just get Dynomation? It's a great learning tool.
It really is.
It makes you think about when you have to enter data. You've got to think about and how that might affect things.
The thing about it is, though, you've got to put in accurate data in
To get any
any
useful
useful
data
stuff out.
out.
No doubt about it. And then in my case, there was AFR heads, and they give you the minimal cross-sectional area in the cylinder head. So that answers one variable accurately. But your cam specs, and I tell you can move things around. I mean, I've tried the heads that I have, and I've tried different ARF heads that have a different. The flow numbers are not that different, but the cross-sectional area difference.
And it changes.
Difference. Yeah, look at this. Even
Yeah.
though actually I had one case that was a bigger cylinders had AFR, really didn't make much difference.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, what I did is then you looked at the average velocity, intake port velocity.
Mm-hmm.
The slightly smaller head, smaller head had better velocity in the port than so bigger heads, bigger flow numbers may slow down your air velocity,
That's right.
and you don't make what you think you're going to make. It's a great tool.
Yeah. That's why my cylinder head program has things like mean velocity and port energy and port energy density and swirl and all that in it.
And plus, if Billy Godbold, his book on camshafts, have you seen
Yeah,
that?
it's good stuff.
Yeah, inside there he talks about using Dynomation.
Yeah.
He said there's certain things that I can't measure. I mean, you can't stick your finger and measure the airflow, the speed of the airflow. It gives them certain information that only a simulation can give you. So it's true.
So dyno operator here with us. What's going to be the biggest hurdle for Eric, in your opinion?
The biggest hurdle?
On the dyno, the issue, more than anybody, the issues you run into.
Well, in our case, the biggest issue, time consuming, was hooking up the throttle linkage.
Oh yeah, I'm the worst one because I take tunnel rams over there.
Well, and anybody had a tunnel ram, the linkage is all sideways and perpendicular. That really slowed things down. But other than that, it was the way I have my dyno set up. We have the flexibility and then whatever kind of headers you had, we can move that back and forth. We got the electrical outlets. We were able to. We had every kind of engine at the contest, and we got everyone hooked up, bolted up, wired up, water fuel lines. We managed. Only the tunnel ram people slowed us down.
Yeah, that's right. I think there will be a difference in base circles, and I think the elephant in the room might be preload on push rod length, because I think he's using a non-adjustable rocker, right? He's using the factory style rocker.
Don't know. We should have asked that question
Yeah,
while he was
and
on.
I think that might
Eric,
be
if you're still watching, could you answer that question? But we'll keep an eye open for it to come out if you get this message. But you might be back under that car.
Well, I guess what he could have done is he said, okay, tell me what your base circle is, and
set it up for that.
And I'll calculate what push rod length you need to send in with your cam, I guess,
Yeah. Andy's doing dot to dot. That's an unknown variable, of cam timing. He's not degreeing the camshaft in, but yeah.
That's the rules. It's the same for everybody.
That's right. Everybody's playing on the same field. It's like drag racing. You all race on the same track.
Well, I remember I was talking to one guy. He had a pro stock car, right? And he was going to make a pass. And I thought, I've got an opportunity. I'm going to race him, right? He's going to beat me by like 4 seconds, 5 seconds. And I said, can I use this lane? And I remember his answer. Why is it shorter?
So, another thing too, is he going to run each cam through the cam doctor?
Yeah.
To make sure that it matches up to the spec?
That would be
well, actually, it doesn't matter whether it matches up to spec or not. He's running it through the cam doctor. And if there's a big discrepancy, he's going to say, well, why is there this big discrepancy?
That'd be kind of foolish for someone to think.
Because you can run any duration you want.
Yeah, as long as it fits in the engine.
Yeah, right. But don't forget, it's 4,000 to 7,000.
Right.
So if they put in too big a cam, the cam that's I've spec'd out will be just right for what's its S10.
Oh, Sammy's S10.
Sammy, yeah.
Can you share what the specs?
Yeah, what is your specs?
What are your specs?
I don't even know.
This is Eric's program that we're looking at.
Oh,
it's
okay.
up to him to say. If you want to know what spec cam, I'm not keeping it secret, but it's Eric's competition. So, guys, chime into Eric's channel.
This is what he's using. Thank you, Optimum Performance. An 8150 push rod, OEM 17 rocker with trunnion upgrade. Bolt down and go. Yeah, so depending on the camshaft, if the base circle is right, then shouldn't have any issues. But if base circle is cut short,
we're going to need to know.
Yeah.
Right.
Might make more power because it'd be less preload. I don't know. Everybody's playing the same rules, though.
Well, what was that name, Joe? I saw one guy sending a cam in, but he builds complete engines set to
this right here.
Complete engines set to the parameters and let them bring their motors.
That's interesting. Okay. So what else have we got on
I just want to say hi to Colossal Chris, one of my brilliant students when I was at university, Charlotte University.
What's the 660 limit? What's that? What is the lift limit on that contest?
660.
660 lift.
Yeah. You know, I do think as a YouTuber, this is going to end up being huge for him.
Yeah.
Great
I
idea.
really do,
Yeah. Well, I hope it is.
because it's gotten
I mean, like
it's all over YouTube.
right. All what I said earlier on. You guys think think this is a little difficult? It's way more difficult, isn't that right,
Oh,
Greg?
it's more time consuming.
It's,
and it's
you
things
just
you don't
have
see.
no idea until you try doing it. Talking about that, let's tell them about where we got to with the Mustang.
Yeah,
Right.
tell them about your black marks
Right.
out there.
Well,
Let's see here. If I can-
get this thing loaded up. But
I don't know if I can do it.
Well, go and get your computer. We'll put it on there. I put it on a chip. We can just show them.
I've got to sign off. I've got to be somewhere. It was fun. I look forward.
Okay, Greg.
We'll do this again.
I will.
Ciao.
I'll talk to you in the week.
Okay, let's do
See
it.
you,
All right.
Greg.
All right. Good
Right.
time. Good
Take
time.
care.
All right.
Give Linda a hug from us. Right.
You got it. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Okay.
So
let's
let's see if I
swap
can
chairs.
figure this out.
Excuse me, folks.
Let's see if I can do this. Hang on here. I'm trying to find a video file of him on with let's see here.
It is on the chip in there.
I know, but I'm trying to find. Let's see here.
Now, the bottom line is here. We have no idea what we're doing. Now, this chair.
So
is
Chris
low.
Allman is saying that he is moving to
To Charleston next month. Took a job as VP of engineering for a growing cam company there.
That's awesome.
Right now, I know of a cam company there, but I can't bring it to mind. Right. Anyway, hi, Chris. Best of luck with your new vice
Journey.
president of engineering.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yes, you can ask a question. Let's see if I can do this here. Video.
Schmitty, love to. Is that
I
the
need to
Schmitty
find-
from Elbrook?
I'm trying to find desktop.
Hi, can I ask a question? You already have. Right, there it is.
Let's see if this will work. The browser's having trouble. It's not going to let us.
And so you'll have to get your computer. Go and do that. I'll keep
I
them
don't have my
entertained.
computer.
If I go and get mine.
Well, anyways, let's see here. We'll deal with that later.
Yeah.
Let them see it in the video.
Well, I wanted to show them this so that all those guys who are not 2.3 Mustang fans can see what they're missing. Right now, we've spent a lot less than buying a V8, and we can actually bury a V8 now, not only just in straight line, but also cornering speeds.
Yeah.
Not on braking yet. We haven't got there. But it's all very well for me to say, oh, it'll do this, this, and this. But I was going to show you. In fact, I'm going to do that. Andy, you
All
keep
right.
them
So
busy
answer,
while
well,
I get my
answer this
computer.
question first.
Right, now let me creep by.
All right. So you figure that out.
I'm going to go around the back here.
So, anyways, you want to chop off the counterweights completely off on a KA24 DE because it's a drag racing engine. It's a 4-cylinder engine.
You probably cut them down, but
Yeah, they're going to have to be there. You know, you can cut them down, but you're going to have to be careful with that because being a 4-cylinder, it's going to present issues balance-wise. So David and I, we put a new intercooler on his Mustang. We got it from Greg's Airplanes YouTube channel. It's called Euro Propulsion Motorsports, I think. Don't quote me on that. David will be back here shortly to correct me, but bang for the buck, if you have an EcoBoost Mustang, that is the best bang for the buck that you can possibly do. Ty here, update on Mission Impossible while you're getting set up. Yes. This coming weekend, I'm headed to Sykeston, Missouri for a drag race called the No Name Nationals, and I fully plan on picking up a block. It's a 67 model block from Just Mopar Joe. It'll be usable. The block that I have is not usable, so that's why. And once all this is over with, you'll see lots of content because I've got a lot of stuff lined up for it. So you think you can find it?
On here,
Yes.
we got to take the deal out of here and plug it in. And we're good to go.
So are you folks familiar with the No Name Nationals? It is a YouTuber's content creator drag race that John Wilburn and Dallas Brown of the AHRA puts on. And so I'm actually taking Casper out there, leaving out here, North Carolina, about 3 a.m. Thursday morning. And hopefully we'll be there around noon. It's about 720 miles from where I'm at. So we're going to take Casper out there and have some fun. I've got a couple call out races. Big Block 402 YouTube channel has a really cool Chevy pickup truck that has a 481 cubic inch big block Chevy with a tunnel ram and a set of VRS carburetors. It's going to be really, I think it's going to be a really good match between Casper and Candy Cane. Also, Two Hacks Garage. He is bringing that super cool Thunderbird that he has with the big block Ford and plan on doing a little grudge race with him. So we're going to have fun this coming weekend. That says here. Well, Mission Impossible hasn't gotten out of hand because we've been focused on other stuff, but we're going to do it our way. And because we want to make sure that the person who ends up with this engine,
we're going to make the only top fuel street motor.
Yeah, out of a 318 Mopar. I mean, come on.
Right. So if your cranky old chassis can stand 4,000 horsepower, we got what you need.
Yeah.
It won't cost you a cent.
Bert, absolutely. I'm still running the VRSs on Casper. It's those are the best 4150 style carburetors I've ever tested. When David was writing his Holly book, I was with him through a lot of that, and we tested a lot of different carburetors.
We sure did.
I mean, high-end carburetors. I'm talking like Braswell carburetors.
I think we got to have spent $1,000 on fuel.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And I would put these VRS carburetors up against any one of those out of the box. They're that good. And I'm not just saying that.
Right now then. Go on, keep talking. I haven't got there yet.
Oh.
If I knew what I was doing, it'd be a big help.
Also, I lost a ring on my 410 Stroker 360. I'm looking at either sleeving or doing another block myself.
Greg, are you watching? Not Greg Finnegan. This is Greg Gordon. Note.
Greg Gordon.
I'm just getting
his company's name is
Propulsion.
Propulsion.
Eurocompulsion.
Yeah.
.net is the channel. Yeah, I don't want that there.
So M&P Speed Associates wants to know, how did you come about the specs for Eric's LS Cam Challenge?
What I did was I went into my small block Chevy,
Modified the
and I
program.
did some small modifications on that, critical but small. I changed a couple of constants in it, which were based on the knowledge. No, based on the data I've currently got, which is a bit thin for ALS.
Yeah.
I changed them to what I kind of thought it might be, right?
And this is the first cam you've ever done for
An
LS.
Yeah.
So
right. So then I put that into the program, and then whatever it spat out, that's what it meant. Right. So for me, this is not a test of whose cam's best and all that. I'm hoping this does well, because it's going to mean that I've got to reevaluate my constants all over again. Right. But if it works well, and remember, this is a cam for street use, a cam that Brian will put a warranty on for a really decent street mileage.
And I think it's important to note that probably some of these camshafts that Eric has gotten in, they will be on the ragged edge as far as the intensity of the load profiles, meaning that, yes, this thing may do very well on the dyno, but it probably wouldn't last long. Now, I'm assuming that, but I'm sure that people are going to press the limits.
Right.
Am I ready for a rematch with Tony? Anytime, anywhere, we'll do it. Casper is, knock on wood, it's running pretty good these days.
Now, what's the gearbox you're putting in there? Or shouldn't I have mentioned it?
It is the Casper-matic. It is the E40D with the world's first fully hydraulically controlled valve body that's got a trans brake for the E40D. John Cope of John Cope's Racing Transmissions worked extremely hard. I've got a lot of videos on it, and so it's going to be pretty awesome.
I found it.
Greg is asking, what does Tony's car run? The best that car has ever been is like 760s, I think. So, yeah. I had come to find out when I raced him, I had a broken sprag in the torque converter, and that's why it went the way it did. Let's see here. You get it figured out? And you're going to have to take it over there and hold it up for the camera.
Yeah, well, I'm going to hold it in front of the camera.
We're going to do some John Wilburn style YouTube in here. We're going to play the video in front of the camera so that you can see it.
Now then, let's forget about all this talk about horsepower and all that.
Tim,
and
dead on.
so
Absolutely.
Here.
All right, hit play.
Right.
He's out here making the neighbors extremely happy.
They were all out helping me. Quick, where do we go?
Hit play. Now, I will say this. After we did that intercooler upgrade, I took the car out for a draggy test. And on an 85-degree day, it run the best.
And on a street.
Yeah.
Street, right?
Yeah. It spun through first and second, and it still ran a personal best on the draggy. We're touching 87 miles an hour with it. So I don't have any doubt in my mind once the weather turns a little bit cooler and we get it on a track that's sticky, that we should be able to get a 7-second pass out of it.
Now, let me say this, right? Now, Greg, that's Greg Gordon, not this Greg that's just gone. I told you that intercooler was working well. We couldn't do that before.
No.
Right?
No.
I figured that intercooler has picked up an absolute minimum of 70 foot-pounds of torque and maybe and probably 50 or more horsepower just from changing the intercooler.
What's going to be really cool to see is just how much of a flow restriction the stock intercooler
Now, I
is.
would have made those adapters today to adapt the intercoolers on the flow bench.
Yeah.
Right. I've got the materials for it. Just had too much to do.
Roman sent you $9.99. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate it.
Oh yeah, great. Thanks.
We really appreciate that.
Now, why are we?
Now look, David is never too old to burn rubber. You want to see him smile? The times that I've taken him out in Casper and done rolling burnouts, that joker is grinning from ear to ear.
Look, I've told people this a lot.
He is.
If there was no such thing as race cars on this planet, I would be the most useless son of a bitch you ever came across. Right? I am very thankful that God created race cars. I really am.
We wouldn't know what to do with ourselves, would we?
Schmitty, what does LMOA mean?
Laugh his ass off. Laugh my ass off.
Oh, right. I thought it was a code for something.
Learning. It is code. It's an acronym for that. You got to get up to lingo, internet lingo. But yeah, the No Name Nationals is coming up. David is not going to be able to go.
No,
his health is not letting him. I would love to be able to take both the Mustang and Casper, but we still do not have.
We have not it tuned yet.
Yeah, we haven't had it tuned yet.
Oh, by the way, the performance you've just seen is with stage 2 tune on the
Cobb tuner,
right? Other than that, the electronic side of this hasn't been touched. That intercooler and the cold air box is on that stage 2, and we
Greg's
know
intake tube
that the several things we're gonna try it out probably next Sunday, right? Probably.
Yeah, because I'm supposed to be coming back, and we're gonna try to make it to the track
now
Sunday.
If Andy can't make it, my next door neighbor Doug, you've met him before if you've been a regular, we're going to drive over there and he's going to drive the car. Right now, here's the thing that in that burnout, it's not obvious there, but it went through first and second, like first, second. It was in third gear for most of that burnout.
Yeah.
Right? Third gear.
See, before you could launch the car on the street and you wouldn't get any kind of wheel spin. Now it will just power spin through first to second and barely into third.
Yeah, if we could hook it up, I'm estimating that our 0 to 60 will be about 3.8 seconds.
Charlie's saying the EcoBoost head needs porting.
Charlie, you're right, as usual. I'm halfway through porting the head, right? It's just that my health is not letting me work the hours I would like to. It was very fortuitous today that I was up to working at an 8-hour day, wasn't it? All of last week, I think I only did about 2 hours work. And the week before that, 3 hours a day, maybe 4 at the most, was as much as I could manage before I was ready to collapse, right? I'm paying for my wayward youth, literally.
Ty, that is why my Duster is named Therapist. Here's a little known fact. My first car was a 70 Duster 340.
Yeah.
My first car. I was dead, diehard, Mopar or no car type guy. And then I got away from it.
Yep. Now, did Greg answer my video?
I did not. Question? No, his post was a while back.
Right. Are you still there, Greg? I don't know why I'm shouting. He's all the way over.
Here's a question. Do you think the Mustang could get 200 horsepower per liter? So 460 horsepower.
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah.
Look, just so I'm bragging again.
Yeah, Greg's in here.
Right. the last turbo motor that I helped out with, I spec'd it all out and I ported the head for it, made 576 horsepower per liter. Can I make 200 horsepower per liter? Look, when I get the new block and that,
Yeah, because it's going to take a new
crankshaft and
block.
that, we're not shooting for 400 or 500 horsepower.
No.
We're shooting for 1,000 at the wheels.
Yeah.
Right now, that's going to take some doing, and it's not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to be cheap. So, all you guys want to contribute to the EcoBoost fund by contributing to the super thanks, damn it, start now, because it's going to take all of next year for me to get all the parts together I need.
We still need to get the upgraded turbo on there that you ported and the exhaust.
Oh no, Greg Gordon's doing the testing on that.
Okay, so he's doing the testing on that.
I'm well on the way with it, right? But we're going to go to the NX2, and before I even put it on, I'm going to fix the problems with it, which I believe they haven't got the turbo housings designed right. So they're going to say, well, aren't you going to check it before? Hell no, I haven't got, I'm 81, not in good health. I haven't got time, right? I know that after I've modified it, it's going to make 30 or 40 horsepower more on less boost.
Greg, you can't get an EcoBoost anymore? Oh, the EcoBeast. I don't know.
What was that? Say that.
Greg was saying that you can't get an EcoBoost anymore.
You can't.
I don't know.
Oh, he's addressing Charlie.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Oh, EcoBeast is another engine that's been discontinued. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
But
I
what
just
else
thought that
have
was
we got
a
on the
nickname.
burner?
What
Okay,
else?
Let's talk about the Mission Impossible. So basically, once I'm finished with Sykeston and drag racing, the focus is going to be turned strictly on to Mission Impossible and the Crown Vic, my Crown Vic. I've got to get the trick flow heads on it.
I'm holding that up. I've got one head done, ready to go. The second head is just started. It's not that they take a long time to do normally, but I'm doing my best.
If anyone out there has a steel flywheel, not iron, steel flywheel for a small block Chrysler, neutral balance, not externally balanced, that I want to get rid of, email me at tunnelram393w@gmail.com, because in order to get this engine on the dyno, I'm going to have to find a steel flywheel. Greg Finnegan, we do not run iron flywheels on the dyno. We always run steel. So if anyone out there has a steel flywheel that they're willing to part with, let me know.
Come on, let him know.
Yeah, let me know.
What's holding you all up?
Yeah.
What's the time? 9:15. Good.
Yeah, we're
We
moving
got more
around.
time than I thought there.
Because I'm laughing with you, DV. The pillow dent.
Not sure what I mean about that, Chris. At the end, the pillow didn't help much. Now,
I definitely want something. I mean, aluminum will work as long as it's
good stout one, yeah.
SFI approved.
Yeah.
That's something that Greg is very picky about on his dyno, and I fully understand that. You don't want to.
I've seen an explosion on the dyno. Yeah. I had one. Right, took me 5 days to get the dyno cell back operative. I mean, there was a connecting rod embedded in one of the walls.
Yeah, and you got to think we're going to be running the final version of this engine, to 7,000 RPM. So it's better to err on the side of caution.
Yeah. Now, what else did I want to talk about here? Where are we at on doing? We got the heads to do. Oh, I got a present for you.
What is this?
Turn it around. Right? You can.
Aces EFI gasoline.
That's what
4-ball.
you're going to use to kill the bore wear on your
Mixed up balls.
mixed up boss. Yeah.
So is this a fuel additive?
Yep. Yep. I'll show you the tests I did. Right, but you can talk about that on your channel.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. 600% reduction in bore wear.
16 ounces
Minimum.
treats, 96 gallons.
Yep.
It's a detergent and a stabilizer.
Yep. Oh,
With
and it
upper-
also, again, I tested this. It's not somebody else's figure. It increases the apparent octane. That's the octane your engine thinks the fuel has in practice on the street, right? When we simulated a street motor, that increased the octane, apparent octane, by 1.5 to 2 points. Now, let me tell you about octane boosters. When they say points and I say points, it's a different thing.
Totally different.
I'm talking about going up from, say, 92 octane to 93.5 to 94. When they say it goes up 5 points, they mean 0.5 of an octane. So 92 octane goes up to 92.5. And it does nothing for bore wear, right? So if you want a anti-bore wear stuff that's worth octane, that's the stuff. But Andy will give you all the lowdown, where to get it from and all that.
Yeah.
And
I'll try it out.
yeah, yep. And I've got the test data for him so he can relate to that, right? So anyway,
Let's see
anything
here.
else, sir?
You know, I'm sitting here thinking about Eric's challenge. I mean, it's pretty.
Guy's got to have some testicles for that.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. He's got to have some brass ones for that.
Yeah.
And my hat goes off to him because that's a major undertaking.
Yeah, it is.
And the viewership is the winner.
Here's his first statement after he's finished it, because he will finish. He won't let anything beat him. That's the last time I'm doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
I
I
don't
could
know.
do it like this. Well, let me tell you,
Sorry.
Pilgrim, that's the last time I'm doing that.
You know, the thing about every time I've done dyno testing, I've always been left with more questions than answers. And I know the way his brain thinks. I guarantee you,
He's going to be in the same boat.
he's going to be in the same boat. He's going to be like, He's going to have questions about it that somehow are not answered throughout that test.
Or not. Yeah. But it's a fact that the more you know, the more you realize there is to learn.
Absolutely.
Right? That's it. And this is why I object to those people who say, Bizard thinks he knows everything.
Well,
What a load of bullshit that is.
if you're the smartest guy in the room, you're
in the wrong room. Right?
You know,
I
and
make
people-
a point of trying to be in a room with guys smarter than me so that I learn the most I can.
The thing about it is David and I don't always agree on things. You know, I just don't co-sign what he says. If I say something that he thinks valid, he'll either correct me or
No, give you my side of the story.
yeah, because that's
there's
how we learn.
Times when I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's how we learn. You know what I'm saying? Because I've definitely tested things, especially on the Mustang, you know, the 4.6 stuff that I thought would work, and it didn't go the way that I thought it would.
No, that engine is
It's
a little different to
it's-
a small block Chevy, isn't
it
it?
is. It's a lot different.
Or a small block Ford.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing I've got against that engine is it's huge, right? It's the size of a big block on the outside. When I first saw one at West Tech, right, I thought, wow, that must be the Ford's new big block.
No.
When they told me it was 281
81 cubic inches.
Yeah, I thought, what?
I mean, it's crazy. But now you've got the Coyote, which, I think is probably the best of all worlds, but
Yeah, but
it's a really strong runner.
yeah,
Could be better.
yeah. But now here's the thing. The reason I'm not wound up on the 4-valve V8 is that it's so much work to modify them if you're doing it all yourself,
Yeah.
right? I got to port all those heads, and I got to port twice as many heads to see what results I get. So that's one of the reasons why I got a 4-cylinder one. Was I know doing my polyquad head's going to be quite a lengthy job, but doing 2 of them is going to be unbelievably long. But as you see from that burnout that I showed you, but I did say it was up in 3rd gear, still burning rubber. Only going to do 1-cylinder head. It's easier to get on and off, right? I mean, it's just so much cheaper to modify. And I'm sure I gave away performance to start with, saved a lot of money, but even with the limited mods that I've done so far, by doing them properly, look at the horse. You can get an idea that this thing is going to wipe the deck of a typical V8.
Yeah.
Right.
We've already outran Coyotes at the drag strip with it.
Yeah. I mean, next on our list is we're going to show a well set up Mark 1 how to do it.
The thing of it is,
we've already beaten one once.
Yeah.
Right. But it wasn't set up properly. It needed.
And the driver.
Yeah.
It comes down to the driver.
Yeah.
Most of the guys in the
next
Coyote
Mark
cars
1
can't drive.
we hope to get up there. If it's a stock one, it's got to be stock. Has got to have a driver who knows what he's doing and also knows how to set the car up to leave and work well on a drag strip.
Yeah.
And we will challenge them to a race, and they will come in second, maybe even worse.
Yeah.
Might be worse on a drag
I don't
strip.
know. Let's see here. What other questions did I have lurking?
Question.
There was one question on here talking about your cam grinder. Oh, we've got a super sticker, $10. Thank you so much,
Right,
CT.
yeah, thank you.
We really appreciate that.
There's a cam question there. I just want to say something about that. Bit sad. I know a lot of you will know that David Anton was a close friend of mine for well over 40 years. And when I say a close friend, I mean a very close friend. Well, I got the news from his wife that he's passed away.
No way.
65 years old. And
really? When did this happen?
About 6 weeks ago now.
Wow, I did not know that.
And I'm finding that even though I only spoke to him probably once every 2 or 3 weeks, that there seems to be a hole, right? And I've still got his voice message on my phone. So anytime that I want to get in touch with David, I just call up and listen to that.
Yeah, voicemail.
Message, right? And that just brings him a little closer, right? So I guess I won't be seeing him for a while, right? But we'll have more adventures when we get together again, which will be. Anyway, so any of those of you who want to send condolences to APT, to his wife, Lori, APT is on the, just put into Google, Advanced Performance Technology, right? And his wife is still, she's still servicing customer requirements as far as she possibly can. So if you knew David, just send in some condolences to her, right? She would greatly appreciate that. Anyway, on to something a little more.
So, camshaft for Eric Weingartner's test. You had a question, and I can't remember where it's at. Here it is. Can you tell us who your cam grinder is?
Didn't I just do that?
He used
Brian Tooley.
Yeah,
you must have signed on not at the beginning of this, right? Brian Tooley. I had Brian do it because he's got some good grinds for good profiles for LS engines, and B, he does a fine job, and C, he's got a company that does a good job, and I need to help support his efforts. Right. Another one of those good guys.
Yeah. Like I said, he goes back to Trick Flow and worked at TEA, Total Engine Airflow. He was big into doing CNC porting there, and then he got into the LS world.
Yeah.
And now
that's taken off for him.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. This guy, Tim Jacobson.
Yes, that's
Tim,
my buddy.
Tell us more about that.
Yes, he has the Lightning. He has the Caspermatic #1, and I have the second one.
Right. Come on. Tell us more about it.
Pretty awesome truck.
In fact, are you on the phone? Do we know your phone number?
I've got him saved in the phone here.
Well, call him up and we'll put him on like we did.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Here, hang on one second. Let's see. This guy's saying, I hope you win. That's what we should start doing. Oh, you got another super thanks from Roman again.
Where?
Who would you recommend for a 6.0 LS to grind me a cam? Anyone use your IOP?
Not for LS. It's not finished yet.
It's not. The
That's
program
one
is
of the
not
reasons
finished.
why I entered the competition, is because I could get the data from my cam and all the others and see how far out my constants are in my Chevy program that I've modified with what I think will be the LS constants. And I am so pleased that it's gone to 4 days. I'll have a ton of information. And the best bet is Eric owns the engine. So any specs I don't have, I just call him up and ask him.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's
so
talk.
For me, it's saving me.
Go ahead. You finish talking.
It's saving me at least a couple of grand $5 grand in dyno testing, at least. And of course, I'm not in a physical state to be able to do it. Right. So I'd have to ask Andy for a lot of help. And I know he's up to his, what's up here? Oh, your cap.
Yeah. My cat, alligators.
Yeah.
We wanted to start cold calling people on our live chat.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a killer idea.
Right.
Let's see if he's still.
You should hear some of the responses we get.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, buddy.
You're live.
You hear that?
So tell us about this 7-time world
No, you
champion.
don't need to talk. You can talk there.
Yeah, let's put the phone over here, John Wilburn style.
Right. Okay. Go for it.
Well, listen, the fella I was racing in the finals is my mentor and teammate. The gentleman that we used to race for owned both of the trucks, my truck and his. So it was my dream to race this man in the finals. Again, he's a 7-time world champion. He's a 4-time in a row champion in the Truck and Lightning series. And basically, he just did a better job than I did. We both broke out. He broke out less than what I did.
So,
what was the difference between your ETs and speeds?
I clocked at 12:49, and he clocked at 10:37.
So how far off were you on the dial-in?
I
was 1,100 over, 1,100 under, and he was 600 under.
Okay.
You were beaten by 500ths of a second.
Yeah. It was a matter of the whole weekend. I set my index at 12:49, and knowing the truck would run at 38 all weekend, and I was always just hammering on the brake at the end. It did that against him. Otherwise, I probably would have won.
Yeah. So, Tim, tell everyone what class you raced and what series, and give them a little background on the Caspermatic and your take on it.
Well, I raced the NMRA truck and SUV series. It's a 99 F-150 with a 5.4 and a blower. The only thing that I've really changed in that is I put a 5-pound pulley on it. I put It's got a single blade throttle body and a cold air system, and then I changed the cooler to a straight ice cooler, so it doesn't run antifreeze through it. It's just water and runs through ice. That ice cooler gave me probably 100 horsepower, believe it or not.
Wow.
It's a 3/4 second difference running that ice versus running the water through the air cooler.
Wow.
So
So what you're saying is inlet charge temperature is very important.
Very important. I
Yeah.
tried to start. I tried to have it at water temperature at 32 degrees on the hit, and generally on the other end of the track, I'm somewhere around 50, 55 degrees.
Good Lord.
By doing that, that keeps my intake air temperature down. You know, what do they call it? The downflow air temperature.
yeah.
I try to keep that below 100, below 140 for sure, but generally try to keep it at 120 or less, because on that engine, when you get into that 140, it starts pulling timing out because it makes the air get too warm.
Right. So tell everyone about the Caspermatic and what kind of results you've seen from it.
Well, quickly, to give you an idea, that last year I never made it out of the first round foot brake.
Right.
And I put this Caspermatic in with the trans brake, and as Andy knows, he was at my very first race. I was putting some big guys on the trailer that day.
Yeah. Now that was the one you did the video on, wasn't
Yes.
it? Right. So what number video was that? That was
I can't
about.
remember the
That's
number.
got to be about
It's
2
back
months
in-
ago now.
Back in April.
That long ago.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, if you want to see what it was on the track, go to one of Andy's videos back in April. Just,
Yeah.
you know,
And you
that'll
can see
narrow
the
it
video.
down to about 5 videos.
So where are you currently at in points?
I am currently third in points, 5 points behind second place.
Wow.
My last race is coming up the week after you're at Sykeston
Yep, at the Bowling Green.
at Bowling Green, and at what they call it, the Holly Ford Fest. I am in the running for the championship. If everything works out, I can win the championship.
That is freaking awesome right there.
Yeah. Now I went from, like I said, last year only making first round every race to I've placed third, 2 seconds, a fifth, and a 7th, I think, this year.
So that's a vast improvement over last year.
Right, and majority of that is the Caspermatic trans brake. Now there is some other improvements. The torque converter helped in that as well, but it's really getting off the line. I could never get that truck to leave a line. It was never making boost until after it moved, you know. And now I can get in the boost.
Now,
with
wait,
the truck.
wait a minute. Isn't this a positive displacement blower?
Mhm.
Well, what type of blower is it?
It's an Eaton.
Is it the one with the economy valve on it?
Yeah, it's an Eaton 112.
Eaton M112.
Right. Well, look, your economy valve's not working properly, probably. But if
No,
I
no,
would
it's working right here because it's
Okay.
only on
wire it shut then, so that it can operate. So you've got you can access blower boost as and when the throttle goes down, not slightly after.
Well, I think the real problem with it was the torque converter. I think the torque converter
Yeah.
wasn't allowed it to come up.
Right. It was so tight that it wouldn't let it work.
Oh, well,
I
that
couldn't-
could be a
I
yeah.
breaking it, I couldn't get above 1100 RPM,
Yeah.
or it would move.
Okay.
Well, Tim, we
Forget
appreciate
that,
your
Forget
time.
that advice. You do it your way, Tim. Right. But that might be of use to some other people.
I've been owing you a call for a minute, and I've been so busy with work and family stuff. So I think this was a good time to give you a call.
Well, I appreciate that. I heard what I wanted to hear from you, that you finally got Caspermatic in. I really wanted to hear how it does.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, brother. Well, you have a good night.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yep.
Should we call Dolly Parton now?
I doubt she would answer my phone call. She might answer yours.
Well, she probably won't remember me, but
Okay. Let's see here. Let's get back to some questions.
we kind of lost track of what was going on there.
Yeah, we were paying attention to him.
Brian, what was that one there? A question about your super quench area, right? You mean my, God, I tell you.
What, your scavenge plateau?
Scavenge plateau. Every cylinder head that is even remotely like a 2-valve Chevy head or an LS head or a
Regardless
Chrysler,
of the chamber, we
a
do it.
big block cylinder head should have a scavenge plateau. It's all upside. There is no downside.
Yeah.
You can't ruin a set. All you can do is make it better.
The only downside to it is by doing that, you're increasing the chamber volume by a couple cc's.
And in spite of that, on a big block,
You're
it
still
will
gonna
show
make
more
more
power,
power.
even with the less
Yeah.
compression. On a big block, it was up 20 on peak, and at 500 RPM past, it was up 32. I remember those numbers, right? And the other thing was you picked up 500 usable RPM as well. That's where it really pays off. Who can grind me a Duntop 35 3/4 in packet? You don't want one.
I mean,
You absolutely do not want one unless you want a 30/30 cam. What is it you want to buy? Do you want to buy torque and horsepower, or do you want to buy a cam? The two things are completely different. Please answer that question. Who asked it?
Wing It Tracy.
Winging It Tracy. Yeah,
Yeah,
Winging It Tracy. Justify why you want that cam.
Terrell gave it a $10 super chat. Would you please
Great.
consider making more small block Ford videos? Really enjoyed the video about
I'm
that.
about to do one that you'll love, right? It's absolutely how to port an iron small block Chevy head,
Ford.
an iron small block Ford head using,
What you thinking?
Goodson
Yeah.
tools, so that you can cut the entire bowl, top of the guide, reshape all that on a machine.
Very
Right.
minimum work.
So basically what you can do is you can go in, take your head in, get it shot blasted, and get the bowl cut. Don't get the seats cut yet. The bowl cut, and it will, the tools I'm saying to use will cut it in a form that works really well. You will have very little porting to do, and you will get 75% of the benefit of a fully ported head.
Yeah. Basically, all that's left after you do that is a little bit of blending work, and you're good to go.
And the chamber, which
Yeah.
is, you can get at the chamber. That's right there in front of you.
Yeah.
Right. So, but what I'm going to do first is do the bowl work, very simple, bit of chamber work. And then I want somebody, I will let them have it real cheap, so long as they get on the chassis dyno with it.
The plateau works on a Mopar. Yeah, pretty much any wedge style combustion chamber, it's going to work in it. While it won't show a gain on the flow bench, you will see results.
Very rarely does it show up on the flow bench.
Yeah.
But boy, I'll tell you what, it's like on the dyno, it's like you just picked up 10% flow, which is a big increase.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know hardly anything about the Packard engines. I do not know. I've never messed with one.
What's this? Do I remember? You have adjustable push rods for that Packard.
Yeah.
Okay, Jim, you're answering somebody else's question there.
Probably answering it, Winging It Tracy. Well, if that's about it, you about ready to wrap it up?
Oh, it's 9. Is it that late? I don't know where
9:40.
all the time went. Right. Actually, I think I may be getting low on blood sugar, right? So I haven't eaten today yet.
Yeah.
So, okay, guys, Well, what we'll do is we'll answer one more meaningful question. So give us your best shot.
Yeah.
Then we're going to pack up. Not sure. No.
They don't want us to quit.
We're going to try and do this more often, right?
I would love, now that Shady Side actually has really good Wi-Fi there,
We could do one from there.
we could actually do a live from the drag strip.
Yeah.
So I'm
Anybody-
working on that,
Anybody in favor of us doing that?
doing a live from the actual drag strip.
Put down
while
in the notes after. Yes.
I think that would be really cool to do.
The guys at Shady Side are well worth.
Yeah, Zach and
supporting, aren't
Seth. Yeah,
They are dyed in the wool race car enthusiasts. aren't they?
absolutely. And they always treat us really well when we
Yeah.
go there.
I think that's pretty general for most people.
Yeah,
You've got to be a real jerk to piss those guys off, haven't you?
you do.
Yeah. I mean, really, they put up with a lot and come back with nothing but good manners.
So, have I started on Mission Impossible? I answered that. This coming weekend, I'm going to be in Sykeston, Missouri, and Shane Polito, Slant Daily Garage, is bringing me a block, a usable block. So, I'm going to get with him. It came from Just Mopar Joe. I'm really looking forward to finally getting some progress done on this thing and getting the bottom end sorted out and making some power.
Sean, right?
Sean,
DV,
DV,
we answered that.
yeah,
Well, I have got to go in for CT scan on Tuesday, and it's very likely,
yeah, he's not going to be able to make
very
it.
likely some serious.
Things coming his way.
Yeah.
So y'all keep him in your thoughts and prayers. But I am leaving out from here in North Carolina about 3 a.m. Thursday morning, and hopefully we'll be in Sykeston by around noon, so I can get Casper teched in and drive it to Lambert's for the Flash Mob car show that we always do. So we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Brian, head porting classes maybe in the future, but I'm going to have to limit it to possibly 1 or 2 people, right? And that's simply because I'm not in a physical position to do it. And it may be 0, right? So until I've gone through this current catastrophe, can't say.
Last question we'll answer is there any way to modify a annular booster for even better atomization?
That's an easy answer. Yes.
But when you're doing
Buy
this,
my
Holly book.
Holly book, and it will tell you how to do it.
But the thing about it is, you really have to have a good understanding of what's going on with cylinder distribution. But yeah, you can do it, and you got to remember that you can over atomize the fuel and cause a power loss.
If your manifold's too hot and you atomize the fuel to an extent where a lot of it turns to a vapor, you'll get very good brake specifics, very smooth running engine, and less torque.
Yeah.
And horsepower.
So let's see, there was a question. I will definitely let you know. If you see me at Shady Side, please come up and introduce yourself. That'd be awesome. But that's pretty much it. Anything else?
For a small block Mopar. Printed.
Yeah, Sean, he's the guy that sent us. I'll see you there hopefully with some 3D printed intakes for the Mopar. He's the guy that does the intake manifolds, the cross with the Weber design.
Really?
I
knew that name sounded familiar.
Yes.
I should have.
I see Clayton Toolbox in here.
I got
a
a call, Sean. I've got some questions for him.
So, but we thank y'all so much for coming and hanging out with us. And go subscribe to Eric Weingartner's YouTube channel. Make sure that you send him a super thanks or donate to his link that he's got up, because we're rooting for him.
Yep. One last thing here. Chris Almond, right? I had nicknames for almost all of my students when I was at university. Chris's nickname, Colossal Chris.
Colossal Chris.
I'm not going to give you any clues as to why he was named that, but
You could imagine. So, anyways, y'all have a great night.
standing next to Andy, Andy looked quite a normal size.
Man, come on down, Chris. Y'all have a great night. Thank y'all so much.
Yep. You all take care.